back to P3. Another exciting area of research is how stem cells could possibly help heal injured brain cells. This is one focus of a study for Dr. Adi Mizrahi, a leading neuroscientist working for the Institute of Medical Research, Israel, Canada, at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. He's also done extensive research on the plasticity of the human brain and how it's actually changing by our physical environment.
Professor, I know one of the areas of research that you've been involved in is the whole area of neuroscience. And I understand that unlike, let's say, our arm, we get a cut and the cell tissue can regenerate and heal itself. The brain tissue isn't like that, is it? It has a difficult time healing if it's injured or damaged. But some of your research on the brain is expanding that. Explain what you're doing.
So specifically in the adult mammalian brain, human brain included, there are niches of stem cells which continuously renew throughout the life of the animal. And there is very limited, like you said, very limited capacity of neurons in the central nervous system, in the brain, rather than the peripheral nervous system, to renew. And nature has given us this gift where there are this stem cell nation, these neurons, which continuously replace older neurons in the tissue. And we're trying to understand what is the secrets of these cells and trying to study these cells at the last final stages of their integration.
What could be the possible use or application of that? Give me some medical examples of how this research could be applied in real medical cases.
Yeah. So specifically, our research is very basic research, and it'll be hard for me to foresee directly where this would be applied. So I think that in the future, if we will understand the very basic processes of these cells and how they integrate into a normal brain, possibly we would be able to turn into the injured brain. So we're not studying the injured brain at all. We're studying the normal brain and this normal phenomena of stem cells integrating into existing tissue. And at this point in time, we know very little about how stem cells become neurons. Once they become neurons in particular, and this is my research, how do they integrate into the
But if you could understand that system, obviously the application could be that could be applied to damaged brains, Alzheimer's patients, or even injured patients that have happened in an accident, possible the regeneration of brain tissue.
Yes, so in the future, possibly this could be used as the basis of understanding and healing injured brain. Yes, but this is really, you are pushing me to the limit here.
Well, I mean, you're on the cutting edge of an area of research, and this is really fascinating, and people want to be able to see where behind, obviously years out yet, but this is cutting edge ideas of what you're discovering about these stem cells.
Yes, I think so, and I would agree with that, but from here, again, normal brain is different from the injured brain. There are many different phenomena happening in the injured brain which will have to be taken into consideration. And at this point in time, we're just very preliminary results, observing these cells, how they integrate into the system.
In your expertise, what are the one or two fields of neuroscience that most fascinate you? Obviously, we talked about the neurons and the ability to regenerate, but what is one or two out of the fields that you've been reading about and studying that you're so fascinated with and how these are progressing?
Yeah. So I would say two areas that I find I have a close feeling to them. One is brain plasticity. How do our brains change over time at different time scales?
Yeah, well, let's stop on that one because that's amazing. That is an incredibly revolutionary idea. Most of the science up until now would say that the brain is a kind of a fixed organ. It doesn't change, and yet we're discovering that it actually can change.
Yes. So first of all, the fact that I tell you something and immediately you grasp it, and then in turn reply, it means that something has been changed in your brain. This is, I think, common knowledge. But whether the neurons in our brains can change and how do they do that, this is relatively new discoveries. And these tools, these specific tools that I was talking about, really give us now the opportunity to prove what is changing, how is it changing. And in this sense, I think this is really a revolution.
I'm so fascinated with this idea of neuroplasticity of the brain. I was reading a study that was talking about how certain patterns of thought, even calm Buddhists meditating for years, have different patterns of the way the brain calms itself down than others. What's the connection between thought, our patterns of thought, and the way our brains are changing?
So it'll be hard for me specifically to say about thought, but I can surely say that there is a constant interaction between the brain and the environment, and it continuously shapes our brain at all levels. So you can imagine, I mean, during development it's dramatic. If a baby or a toddler doesn't get the correct inputs from the environment or does not interact with the environment, it will grow up to be seriously malformed. And we are constantly interacting with the environment, and this changes our brains constantly. Now, I would assume that also thought, just thinking, is important for so-called brain exercises, and this is critical in order to maintain normal function of the brain. Absolutely. There are dramatic cases where not just fine-tuning like thought or visual experiences, but other instances like blindness, again, injury, things like that, can have dramatic, metaplastic events in the brain where some regions which are not used anymore are now taking.
Right. Yeah, because you talk about people that can't see have these ability to hear in ways or to sense things.
Exactly.
So obviously the brain is maybe shifting and changing.
Absolutely. There is direct evidence for this kind of plasticity, again, at all levels. From milliseconds to seconds to minutes and years, the brain changes continuously at completely different scales.
Your fields are really fascinating. Neuroscience and neuroplasticity in particular are really, really fascinating. Thank you for talking today.
My pleasure.
All the best.
Coming up next, we talk to a professor who is helping those suffering from spinal cord injuries to walk again when P3 continues.